Yes, we are back. This is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. I got my partner in crime, Mr. Career Crossover, Mr. Kevin Carr in the place to be. What it do, baby?
Hey, it do what it do, and that's doing quite well, my brother. What's up, Mr. Joel Sylvain, all the way from what?
Brooklyn's in the house, no doubt. Yes,
No
man.
doubt.
We
Man, so good
we
to see you. We got another week, and we are blessed to be here with you, all right?
Yes, we are, man. Yes, we are. And this is going to be like our freestyle show. So people want to call in to In Touch News at 813. Actually, just send us a text at 917-540-8274. Send us some questions. But we just going to talk about the power moves of just living life and preparing yourself for the ultimate crossover, right? The
Mm,
ultimate crossover. And
okay.
and I want to tap your brain, Kevin, when we talk about this because I love your 9 medallions, which stands for champions,
Mm-hmm.
confidence, humility, attitude, mental toughness, passion,
Yes.
ingenuity, opportunism, neutralizing negativity, and uh
Synergy, my brother.
spiritual synergy. That's right. So I just want to go jump into the news real quick.
Absolutely.
um
Let's do it.
Big shout out to my man, Mr. Andre Harris, Dre Bombay. He got himself his own playlist on Tidal with all the
Mm,
hit records he's done from Michael Jackson to Jill Scott, uh, officially with the A Touch of Jazz. I worked with him when he was first starting out.
mm-hmm.
It's great to see him blow up. Also, just to let you guys know, in the world of music, Jazzo, which was one of our guests, has a new single out. It's pretty hot,
Mm-hmm.
featuring Nipsey Hussle. So that's pretty dope. Check out a new group. The group's been around for a while, but they're a soulful group, but they cross over to country. And I worked with her. Her name is Tanya Blunt. The name of
Mm.
the group is called the War and Treaty, and they have a new single out. Check them out. Last week, we had the Verses of Verses, New York hip hop, as what Jada Kiss said. This is New York hip hop. Why you rapping over your own vocals? You used to be spitting off of just tracks. And so it was the Locks and Dipset. And basically the stats was like Jada Kiss, 62 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists, and a triple double. It was crazy. If you haven't seen the
Wow.
verses, I don't know where you've been at, but the verses was off the chain and it got people so excited. Fat Joe was like, if you had Jada Kiss as a promoter on one price, his price just went up. And the good thing is, Jada Kiss was over at Lit in Tampa this past Saturday. So
Mm,
that promoter got him right on time.
exactly.
Right on time. Also, I want to give a big shout out to a director. Started out doing videos and blew up with 50 Cent, and now he's 50 Cent's right hand man in terms of videos. Worked on that TV show for life that was on ABC. Now it's on IMDb TV, and now he's on Raising Canaan, the part of the Power series, and he's
Hmm.
killing the game right now. I mean, that Canaan series is doing it. He's also been directed for all the different Power series. He's going to do the one with Tommy. I'm telling you, man, this as a matter of fact, on his Instagram, one of our guys, Braylon Prescott, was like, "Woo wee!" His price just went up. So check out E Ferreira. Follow him on Instagram. That's my man right there. 50 grand.
Hmm.
Um, and like I said, the reason why I wanted to do this show today because I really want people to focus on the importance of establishing your works
Hmm.
and what you do with your time here on this earth to make sure that you are leaving not just a legacy, but also helping others blossom as you are on this earth, because it's really not about you, it's about us. And so, I want to give a big shout out. I didn't get a chance to do it last week because it was just a lot, but Biz Markie, if you ever met Biz, his shine was unbelievable, and he always looked out for people. And the thing about Biz was like amazing. I mean, he could DJ, he can beatbox. He was true hip hop. He could rap. He was a comedian. He can act. He was doing commercial. I mean, he was hip hop personified, and he showed you how hip hop was not limited. And he's put a lot of people on, from Kid Capri to my man DJ Diamond J for DJing, to working in Living Color. I mean, you name it. He was a personality that, could not be touched. And to see him go through what he went through this past 18 months with this pandemic was really sad, especially with COVID and everything. And he had, diabetes, which was a challenge. And then most recently, a phenomenal producer. He was a producer's producer within our age bracket. His name is Chucky Thompson. And Chucky Thompson, has done hit records with Mary on My Life album. He was on the documentary. He also worked on Biggie's first album, Big Papa. All the classic R&B type records he did with Diddy to give Biggie that sound that everyone could relate to. His chords were unbelievable. Originally with Chuck Brown, because he's a DC guy, and it's so sad to see him pass on. And so many people have been pouring out tributes to Chucky, and I appreciate him. He's worked with some of folks that I've mentored, and it's just sad to see our talent just go like that. So, but the good news is, once again, he's another person that's left an imprint with so many producers and artists, and they all, and even executives, they all revere Chucky. And so I'm so happy that everybody's giving him his flowers. He's received his flowers while he was alive, but we're really giving him shout outs. So I'm loving seeing that.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to add before you get out, I want to make sure I get a shout out on to someone from a sports perspective who had most recently passed too. So I will just make sure I'm covering you on that, because I think what the topic today is real important. This person kind of did that early in my career, so I want to make sure I give them some propers as we enter into our segment. But man, on the sports tip, I definitely want to jump in. So go ahead, man, finish up, then I'll get you going.
Yeah. And then I want to give a quick shout out to my family. Technically she would be my third cousin, Miss Wadlin Jonatas, winning the gold in the 4x400 relay team. She didn't run that Saturday, but she ran the previous heat where they qualified and came in first in that heat. And so now she has a gold medal. And this is a testament to, perseverance, because she did not make the finals for the 400 because she didn't qualify, but yet she still was able to make it into the finals or obtain a gold medal because she helped the team make it to the finals. So it goes to show you, just because you might have disappointment on one end, there's always opportunity and great light on the other end. And and Kevin, man, let's talk about someone who's touched your life when it comes down to that spiritual crossover.
No doubt, man. First of all, I'll definitely try to line up in the spirit of the Olympics. I'll line it up for you. I want to give a shout out to all our Olympians who certainly, for the last couple of weeks, endured like no other in terms of Olympics that we've seen. It was really interesting to not see anybody in the stands, but except the most concentrated groups, maybe just the exact family members and coaches, and that was it. But other than that, the place was empty. You saw signs that said 2020 versus 2021.
Yeah.
And the significance was, pretty impressive when you think there weren't any major outbreaks. I mean, you didn't hear that somebody totally got shut down because they could not participate. It happened real early before we got going, but um, our Olympic team certainly showed up. Once again, it was tough. Now on the other side of the world, the other side of the world is catching up. I mean, if you think about,
we just tweaked it. I think we beat China by just one gold medal.
Absolutely, and that's not happened in a long. I don't think it's never happened. So with that being the case, we know that the Olympics is a place where anybody who's at the top of their game can beat anybody. But for the United States, we're definitely used to being, right at the top. Medal lead count winner day after day after day. But this year was very different. So if people haven't been paying attention, the Olympics were quite good this year. There was one particular, obviously there's so many stories, but one that sticks out to me that really, I don't know if people watch wrestling, but there's this young guy named Gable Dan Stevenson. What a treasure to find out that somebody's 21 years old, is a world champion, beat a 3-time Olympian at the last second. If you have not seen that match, and if you're not a fan of wrestling, that will make you a super fan, at least watching that, because it was very, very inspiring to watch him work for 6 minutes. And as they say in sports, it's not over
until it's over.
And my man, he just hustled and hustled and hustled and hustled, and he did his move, and it prevailed. Gable Dan Stevenson, man, way to go. And the story beyond, he has a blended family. Mom is African American, dad is Caucasian, and they named him after a famous wrestler called Dan Gable. And they thought so much of him, this impression that he made on their first son and their second son, they named their third son Gable Dan Stevenson in hopes that maybe he would be a great wrestler. And guess what? He has so many offers right now. It's potentially WWE, UFC, and in MMA. So way to go. I'm looking forward to seeing that young brother's career. If you haven't seen him, Gable Dan Stevenson, congratulations to you. Very good inspiration for us all on terms of hard work. Second, we saw Summer League is in full effect at the NBA.
Yeah, that's right.
If you haven't done Summer League, you need to get out there. It is on. NBA just does a fantastic job continuing the proliferation of their brand in the off season. That event is a fantastic experience. You get closer to the NBA and to its future stars than you could imagine. You can literally, it's almost like a gigantic high school basketball game where you literally have that opportunity. And, for me, I'm gonna put that spiritual synergy in the next segment because I think it really deserves that time. Right. And within that, the Summer League, you can, if you're a basketball aficionado and you want to meet somebody, go to Summer League. You get very, very close access. You literally can walk by GMs, you can walk by coaches, the ones you see on TV, not like I'm not playing either. Am I Joel? I
mean, no, you're not. Yeah, this is
the real deal.
The who's who when you go to the Summer League because they're scouting. You absolutely right. That's a great place to.
You'll see legends. You will see former players that you would have not thought, and it's a great place to connect the network. So certainly, if you have time and you're a basketball person, you need to be out of Summer League. It's a great spot to be in.
And you're in Las Vegas.
By the way, you better have your sunblock on. I heard it was 106 today.
That's right.
That place is hot, man. But now we're looking forward to it. Let's take it away to the break. Joel, go ahead.
That's right. That's right. Once again, this is Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect on In Touch News Radio, reality radio, where everyone is a star. See you after the break.
That's right. Be right back.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here for you.
I gotta tell you, man, these commercials are
as they say, gotta be ready. Show business.
Hurry up with the makeup.
We're good.
Yeah, man. So, I want to really talk about when we think about, and I want to kind of put a twist on it, but when we think about setting yourself up as a champion, and we were just alluding to how it's never over until it's over, right? And you got to keep fighting until your very last drop.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I find as a recurring theme is the importance of people need to understand that everyone has problems and everyone has challenges. Some people just wear it well. Right?
Yep.
Some people just wear it well, but everybody has challenges that they're dealing with, and you have to keep working till the very last drop, because you just don't know how long you're gonna be on this earth. So operate like a champion. And so what does that mean in operating like a champion and preparing yourself for that spiritual crossover?
It's a lot there, man. But what I will tell you is when I began to put together this thought of how leaders, how successful people, how people who are trying to be at the top of their game, one of the things I saw over and over, because I was real fortunate to be in successful cultures where people were not only winners on the field and on the court and on the baseball diamond, they were winners in their work. And I think the pursuit comes from a lot of different things, but most of all is, really trying to figure out, what are you called to do? Like, what is your passion? What is your most distinct, notable asset in terms of your DNA? And when I
all right, pause right there. Pause right there.
All right.
You threw it in there really smooth. you put that in. So can you repeat what DNA stands for? Because you was just like, yeah, the DNA. This bro. You gotta define it again. You gotta say DNA.
Absolutely. So DNA in my mind, for what I've been able to kind of help people find as they're looking to find what their passion point is what's your distinct, notable asset? What is it about what you're trying to do here while you're here that is distinct to you? And are you able to find that? Are you able to tap into that? Are you able to reach it, seek it, take it, and build on it where it becomes notable for you? And you notice it, and maybe not everybody else right away, but you begin to build on that. And then it becomes, over time, something that is an asset for you. You literally use it to help you continue to, move further in your path of what you're wanting to seek out and accomplish. And I think when people can tap into that, and not all of us can, how do you do it? And for me, it's always having a sense of a little bit of, where does as they say in the word, like, where can I get help? Where can my help come from? And for me, part of that is having a connection with something greater than myself, in my opinion. So I think when people are trying to find out what is significant about trying to be successful in a very competitive world, in a very, very, very competitive time that we're in. We're battling health, we're battling, economic fragility, we're battling social injustices and circumstances, and the question of leadership in our lives. How are we going to lead our lives? It is one in which you have to kind of tap in. What are you going to take into all these situations and make the most of it? And so I say, first of all, my most coveted strength is one in which where I rely on, even if I don't know if I can be successful every day, I have a sense of faith that I'm going to be. I spend more time in my mind doing that than anything else. So that's a little start for me, man.
For me, the distinct notable asset for me is, I find, is knowing how to re-energize even through tough situations. And sometimes, you got to learn to find your peace while you're going through adversity, right? Mm-hmm. While you're going through challenges, and by smiling. Like I've been, I remember going to high school and got into a fight because the guy was like, "Yo, why you always smiling, man? Like you always smiling." And, mm-hmm. and it's not as if I wasn't going through hard times, right? But mm-hmm. it's not going to make things better if I'm walking around with a frown on my face. If I'm always looking to be sad. And one of the things that I've learned from Tony Robbins, he mentions it, and innately I've learned this: what you focus on is what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. Bottom line, if your focus is on your problem, you're going to get more of that problem. So if your focus is on debt, you're going to get more debt. If your focus is on, you have a bad relationship with your spouse or your children, you're going to get more of that. Now, and you have the power to change it. But if your focus is on, how can I make my relationship better? If your focus is on, how can I increase my income? If your focus is on, how can I make things better, then you're going to get better. It's just like when we are athletes and we are saying, and if you notice, there's always goals. How do I become faster? You don't say, how do I win the race? You don't focus on winning the race. You focus on being better than you were yesterday. You focus on, if you're playing a sport where it's not necessarily measured on track and field, but you're focusing on, your skills, hopefully. You're not doing a Ben Simmons.
Okay.
Shots fired. I'm sorry.
I see. It's gotten quiet over on this side. I'm gonna leave that one.
But unfortunately, now they're negotiating, and he's definitely on the trading block. You all know that. But the reality is that you gotta focus. Whatever you focus on is what is the results that you're going to get. And I want to go back to when I talk about Biz Markie. Hip hop was in its infant stages, and this man has become a caricature in terms of all the different elements of hip hop. He was just one person, and that's because he's constantly was getting better and better, and he knew the power of entertainment. And the power of entertainment is not only on focusing on just one aspect of entertaining, with all aspects. So no matter what the season is, you will always be able to deliver. You will always be able to make a living, and you can touch many lives because of it, right? And so speaking of which, I want to ask you, Kevin,
Mm-hmm.
what was the one thing that you focused on that's helped you help your clients be successful?
Well, I mean, first of all, is getting to know them is key. First, even before I know them, my job when I was the vice president of player development at the NBA was to assess every player that came into the door and be able to help them be their best when they were as they're with us. How do we help them understand the business side of basketball? They've got coaches and they got trainers and they got um, you know, all kinds of specialists on the athletic side, but my side was like, how do I get his mind to be as astute and as finely tuned as he is on the court as he is around this business or in the community or managing his own personal life and affairs. So part of that was the study, man, and just knowing, who and why does Andre Iguodala tick the way he does, or Steph Curry or Chris Paul, why does Giannis, why is he like this? What are his real issues that, I can help him get his mind clear around? And I could distinctly remember working with him was he had a lot of challenges of transition in terms of language barrier, cultural barrier, and his family. And he was very young. So his inexperience on the basketball court wasn't the issue. It was life experience, something big like coming to America and doing that. So it was all about knowing what the setup I needed to set for him and people within the team from a league perspective, how we could help this young man come into. And then it was about building a relationship and building something that, he would remember me for and know like, hey, that's the guy from the league and that guy can help us or help me and help my family eventually one day. And that's, some of the things that when I look at my ability to assess people and then be able to build relationships, those are key. I think a lot of people rush into the relationship, but I always have said, as in my book, The Urge, it's really about assessing who you are first and what you're able to bring and what you're seeing in yourself. And then you're able to assess the environment. The same thing as I worked with players, I was able to say, okay, do your job in terms of assessing this person and then being able to help build a authentic relationship with them. And it wasn't that way for everybody. There were guys who say, hey, he's a suit. I'm not really feeling him. No matter what I did, I'll keep it real with you. And some of that, you're not going to be able to do that with everybody. But for me, I was very, I would say, successful most of the time because I wasn't so quick to say, I'm going to make this guy, my friend overnight. It was a maturing and a maturation process. And I was very comfortable knowing that if it wasn't him, maybe it was somebody in his support network that got me. And then that was communicated like, he's all right. He's good. Like, you need to meet him. Come here, come over here. Come here. I want you to talk to so-and-so about what he's going to be able to help you quicker, faster, better than you being over here. So that, to me, if I could share with anybody, is not so quick about, running to the relationship. What do you know about that person? Where can you connect the dots? And where can you learn about them? So when it's time, the relationship is really connected because you have a story behind knowing their story. And they say, oh, I got, that's why, we connected on that point, so I think people miss that. And that's part of a skill set that, because we're in such a hurry up society and the soft skills are often like that overlooked, that is a real skill to have that a lot of people aren't really trying to do these days because we're moving so fast in a hurry.
I love that you talk about that. I know we have one more minute before the break, so I'm gonna jump right into it. Relationships is the cornerstone of your tombstone. Because when you pass and it's your time to be for your homegoing service, what people say about you then is a testament to what you brought to the table. And that, what you just said is the precipice of what it means to be alive and your works is the relationship. So on that note, power moves where the celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. See you after the break in 2 and 2 or maybe 30 seconds. I don't know.
Stay
on
ready.
In Touch News Radio, reality radio where everyone is a star. See you after the break.
So believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen of sundown 184-361-RIG. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RIG. Call Ricky, ask Ricky. Legal and medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RIC. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Jacobs Production, in partnership with Trinity City of Praise and the African American Family Institute, presents a musical play, 10 Boys and One Girl, coming soon to the David A. Stratz Jr. Center for the Performing Arts, 1010 North Mercedes Place, Tampa, Florida, September the 18th, 2021. 2 p.m. matinee show, 7:30 p.m. late show, $25 general seating, VIP seating $50. You don't want to miss this powerful performance, a story of a man and woman raising 10 boys, one girl, through trial and obstacles. With resilience, faith, and love, they made it. Directed by Nate Jacobs of the West Coast Black Theater Troupe. Musical director Dave Von Jameson of Jacksonville, Florida. Tickets can be found at the Stratz Center box office. For more information, call 813-229-7827. 10 Boys, One Girl, Family Strong.
Yeah, I know.
All right, we back. Yeah, so we're touching upon, this is a special episode here in Power Moves because we want to talk about that full spiritual crossover. We were just talking about the importance of relationships. People come into your life for a reason, and learn to be selfless so that as you are here on this earth, because keep in mind, we are spiritual beings living a human experience. We are not human beings living a spiritual experience, right? So when we depart from our human experience, we continue on. And I will be remiss.
Hold on, I like what you said. Say that one more time for people. Self and say the human experience. You kind of did both words. Give it to us one more time. Because that part, I think you said learn to be selfless, then you went into human this, human that.
Right, because the cornerstone, like you said, you can't just help somebody by just trying to say, I want to build a relationship with, right? You help somebody by being interested in helping them, in helping them, right?
Right.
In serving them, right? And you can't serve anybody unless you're selfless. Right? Yep. Where you are subservient and you're saying, you know what, I'm here for you. Because why? Because we were spiritual beings. We are spiritual beings living a human experience. And we cannot try to say that our human experience is superior than our spiritual experience, because at that point, then that's when you really die. Because if you're so focused on the human experience and you don't think about what happens next and how you elevate, then, you're really missing the reason and your purpose that you're here. And one of the things I want to share, there's another gentleman that just recently passed, which also made me wanted to really discuss this, especially with the loss of my mom, is Dr. Runoko Rashidi. This man has put in decades of work in which he takes pictures of all the different museums and the statues, and he makes sure that he shares with everyone that while people think that Africans were only in Africa, Africans were all over the world prior to Columbus. He worked with Dr. The author of Before Columbus Came, Issa Werkamer, if I'm not mistaken, where they provided the evidence. So if you're interested, just look up Dr. Runoko Rashidi, and please support him. Go to carolstrong2000@gmail.com, to PayPal, because they're really looking to bring all his works as a museum. But it's a perfect example. This is a man that has over 20 books that really talks about our history. And granted, physically, like I said, the human experience is gone. And he passed away when he was in Ghana last week. But the spiritual experience remains forever, because even though he's not here physically, his books, the works that he's done is available for us. Same holds true for Biz Markie. His music, the video stays with us. Chucky Thompson, his music. Anytime you listen to certain albums and you hear, the My Life song album with Mary, and something resonates with you, that's the spiritual experience. And when we cross over, it just hits us that much harder, because now we really are connected as one. So, and that's what I said, like, focus, the whole purpose of Power Moves is, we want to give you strategies so that you will be successful no matter what you do. But the whole purpose really is so that you develop works that when you pass on, you could say to your generations and generations, and other people could say, oh man, I love what, Mr. Brown did, or Mrs. Brown did, or, whatever case may be, because at the end of the day, being selfless and being of service goes much longer than to be selfish.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I love what you're saying, and one of the things that got me to do my 9 medallions and have the foundation of it all at the base was to have a spiritual acknowledgement. I had watched so many successful and non-successful people have it or didn't have it, and I realized the people who were, in my opinion, this is me and my experience, this is what I observed, going in and out of corporate and Division I schools and pro sports, and now as an entrepreneur and operator of 2 different companies, and they're very different. I've really seen the challenge when you don't have a clear path on what it is you're trying to accomplish. Some days you do have those days. Come on now, we do have those days. You do need a foundation that says, I'm going to be okay regardless of where I'm at today, and I'm not going to be too high, and I ain't going to let it get me too low. And I realized that some of the best people that I have been around operated in having a spiritual connection and synergy, and I know that can be interpreted a lot of different ways for people, but the way I defined it within, the training and the business development, as well as the, nonprofit training, and was like having, acknowledging that there is a gift and a power that you have that allows you to achieve some more balance in what you do. and having that ability to connect to that when things aren't good or things are great. Even when they're great, you acknowledge that things are great, and you have a level of humility with that, and you do all you can to establish that connection to those highs and lows by acknowledging, something greater than yourself. And I think when you realize that there is, something that you're here to do, as I started out in the show, when you realize that there's something innate in you that you are here to do, um, it can uplift you, and it empowers you when you have no money or you have a lot of money. You ever notice when people have a lot of money, sometimes they still do what you would never think they would do, because it gives them a sense of fulfillment, because the money is one thing and now they're able to do it even more and bigger, because of that. The other thing is when people are really connected to their calling. You can see that mother sometimes who has 10 kids and maybe 3 of them are hers, and then the other ones are foster kids coming in and out of their home. You're like, why do those people do that? Like, they found something in them that allows them to do that. Is sometimes, in my opinion, is bigger than themselves. And I think when you have a spirit-filled life, it gives you more peace. It gives you more internal power when life challenges you the most. And it will. And it will. And for me, I observe that in some of the most highest levels of professional sports, highest levels of corporate and management and leadership, in some of the world's greatest leaders and world's greatest coaches and such. So I would say that it really, having that as not a secret weapon. I ain't gonna say it shouldn't be a secret. You should have that. In my opinion, having a spirit filled life in order to use that in everything that you do, I believe allows your mind to stay more on the positive than on the negative, and then it allows you to have those moments where, when things aren't going as well, you still can allow yourself to withstand whatever life has handed to you, because you're going to have the sense of faith to be able to get through it, man.
Oh man, I'm loving what you're saying, because you touched upon, I like to tell people that, a lot of times we get caught up in just what's in our heads mentally. And we also get caught up in our emotions, right? But I like to challenge people to say, start with your spirit first. You ever notice where people will say casually, oh man, that affected my spirit, or you know what, you just lifted my spirits, or where did that come from, right? They don't say you didn't lift up my emotions. They don't say, you didn't stir my my thinking. They say, what, man, my spirit is up. I got some energy, right? And so it goes to show you how important it is to spend some time before you start your day in that spiritual mindset. I personally, there was a period of time in my life where I did not pray as often as I should. And I was wondering why my life was a little off kilter. And then when I got back into my rhythm, because that's what it is, my rhythm of communication with my higher power. And my higher power is God. So I'm not afraid to say that, right? And each person's relationship is different, right? But I could say for me, once I started getting back into that rhythm and started really studying all the different books, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, and you start really delving into it, my life started pivoting and changing. And so, I just want to kind of, say to folks before we go to commercial break again, that when you feel that your focus is distorted, because remember earlier I said, where your focus lies is those are the results you're gonna get. So it's important The only way you can get a clear focus is when your spirit is clear. When we say that, when you say that my spirit is lifted up, the only time your spirit is lifted up is when you have your communication with your higher power. So on that note, we gotta pay some bills.
Pay some bills.
Because they pay the power. So this is Power Move, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. We on In Touch Radio, reality radio, where everyone is a star. See you after the break.
See you. Be right back.
Don't miss the first annual Amateur Gorillaz Cookoff coming to the Tampa Bay area on Labor Day weekend, September the 5th. Hosted by the Dr. K.C. Patel High School, located at 10721 Rollison Ranch Road, right here in Tampa, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. There will be a $500 cash prize to the best amateur griller. If you feel that you've got the skills, then you need to bring your grill. It doesn't matter how big or how small. You can drive it up, push it up, pull it up, or even let grandma and grandpa help you set it up. Just bring the entire family out and enjoy some of the finest amateur grill meats. Sample the sauce and find out who has the best sauce. Bring your meat and put it on a plate, and let's see if you have what it takes. For vendors information, text 813-965-4456.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
All right, we back. So we're wrapping up into our fourth quarter, right?
Mm-hmm. Fourth quarter, how appropriate.
Fourth quarter, and I want to leave you guys with a major tip. I've learned this with Tony Robbins, but this actually came from Maslow's theory of basic needs, right? And I want to incorporate a little bit of what Anthony Robbins says, as well as the importance of, using your relationship with your higher power and your spirituality. So there's 6 basic needs. The first need is people need certainty. They want to know exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, what's the result, right? That's a basic need. And that's really a lower need, actually. So that's like the first level. The second level is people also want uncertainty, which is also variety. You don't want this. It's like having the same meal over and over and over again. After a while, you're like, man, can I get something different? So people want variety. That's the second basic need. The third basic need is significance. People want to feel valued. It goes back to what Kevin was mentioning in terms of when he's working with the clients and player development. Are you showing that you find this person of value? Can you make sure that they feel valued, right? So that's the third level. And now we're going up, right? The fourth thing is we all, as a basic need, we all want love. We want connection. That's why we get married. That's why, we have relationships with our children. We always want to hug them and kiss them and find out how's their day, and things of that nature, or, our family members, aunts, uncles, so on and so forth. Love, connection, community. Then the fifth need is, where was I?
You had love, you had certainty, you had variety, significance, love, and what?
The next one, the fifth one, which is close to the top, is growth. Now, growth, being that's kind of like a next level. Most people want the 4. You don't aspire to growth until you've mastered those 4, until you've kind of found that balance in those 4. Usually the folks that are looking for growth, most of the time, those are the 1%ers. They're, well, not even the 1%ers. I would say they're the top 20% actually.
Okay.
Because they've accomplished a lot. They have a balance, relationships. They know how to variety. They have they know how to get the results that they're looking for. But then now they understand the importance of taking it to the next level and growth. And then the last piece is when you're hitting nirvana almost. It's contribution.
Okay.
What is the legacy? What is, the amount of works that I do? And so I want to implore our listeners today to think about those 6 needs. Think about your relationship with your higher power. And one of the things I would say to you, and I would implore you to do is, and I'll challenge you, is sometimes before you have a conversation with a loved one or someone you're building a relationship with, I challenge you to say, hey, you know what, would you mind if we did 30 seconds to a minute, whether you want to pray with me or if you're not into the praying, just 60 seconds so we can focus on the positive results we want to have out of this conversation. Do that for 30 days and see what type of results that you'll have in that. I guarantee you, your life will be completely different. And that's why I say when Kevin mentioned the importance of relationships and really understanding how to develop people, you develop people by showing the value, making sure that they're significant to you. And that's how you can connect. And that's how you can contribute to further growth. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree with you more. It's been, that whole, it's almost like a tree. I felt like you were growing a tree and it kind of blossomed there, especially at the end, when you said the word, what was it? Contribution. Yeah, contribution. It's almost like, at the end of the day, they say when people are on their deathbed, there are like 4 things they wish that they would have not spent so much time at work and spent it with their family. They wish they would have taken care of their health. They wish they would have, taken more risk. And then they wish they would have, not, they would have left some money or something for something so somebody could do something with. They could grow, somebody contribute to somebody. So I think it's right in alignment. I love what we're talking about today because I think for some people it's hard for them to give up power, right? Give up someone else because what do people want? Power. We talk about it. The famous rap song, money, power,
respect from the locks, baby.
Yeah,
from the locks.
And when you get it, what do you want more of?
More power.
Yeah. Then when you get that, you only it's almost like ended. So we have to realize that even when you chase that, what will bring you fulfillment? What will bring you joy? And the power thing may not ever do that, but when you can get to a place where you're satisfied, I think that comes with a sense of finding what can settle you that money can't do. Respect, all that. What can settle you down is knowing that there's something that's put you in a position to where you had that money, power, and respect. And what was that? And I think when you can tap into that, when you don't have it, you still feel a sense of fulfillment. I'll never forget when I was making my transition and I had a real deep couple meetings with my pastor because I was really walking out on faith. And the conversation that we had was really, really powerful. First, I began to pray about but I believe what was going to happen for me and my family, that we were going to be successful. We were going to make the transition. We were going to be able to get back where we needed to be. But there was also that part of me that wasn't 100% sure. So when I had this sort of final meeting, I said, Pastor, I'm concerned about, I won't have a house because I'm going to move into an apartment. And, I'm not going to be putting my kids in private school anymore. And I may not be able to tithe at that level that I used to. And what if I don't get the health care? What if I can't ever put my 401k back together like I'd like to? What if I don't get the business that people promised me that they would? And one of the things that brought me a lot of peace and brought me more connected than anything, and I really want people to get this, was that if you have a sense of faith, you believe that you can still exist without all those things. And for me,
repeat that again, brother.
I said, when you have a sense of faith, you believe that you can exist without having all of those things. You still believe that you will be provided for and taken care of and looked out for. And one of the things I got peace in my mind, deep in me, is that if I never have those things again, I will be okay, because I was blessed in the first place to have them and to experience them. And if you really have a strong sense of faith, like I believe people can get to, I got to a point that I believe that I had that much ability in the faith that I was about to do, that it would be restored, that I would have a home again, that I would be able to put in my 401k, that I would be able to have clients beyond what I could ever imagine, that I would be able to, put my kids in private school. And guess what? All of that has come to pass. And it's touching me now, because I thought about it and I put it into action, and then I spoke it and got peace if it didn't get there. And then as I think about it 7 years later, 2 businesses later, that these things are, and I have a son that started private school tomorrow, all of that stuff it just continues to, amaze me that, I had resolved that if I don't ever get it again, I'm good.
Yeah.
But if I get it again, thank you. And I'm grateful to have it again.
I think what you just said is huge. One of the biggest takeaway, and I love that you piggyback what I said, is the importance of getting that spiritual advisor, right? Where you spoke to, you made sure you took the time and you let them know what your plan was.
Well, one of the things too, just real quick interjection, is that a lot of people have all these friends and stuff, and I just believe that I needed to get better. So my pastor was like a spiritual coach, he was just, you got health coaches, you got all these other things, trainers. Mine was boom right there.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to underscore, is the importance of, like I said, whatever your belief system is, have that spiritual coach, have that spiritual person that you could talk to, because if it don't happen in the spirit world, it ain't happening. If you don't put it out there and say exactly what you're looking to manifest, then how is the universe, how is God going to know what you want? Because you have no relationship. And we're not experts at this, and that's why you got to tap into that spiritual advisor, your pastor, your Baba, whoever it is.
Yeah, your prayer circle, your men's or women's Bible study group, all those things, are important. And before we get out of here, man, legend in the world of college football, Bobby Bowden passed away this past weekend. Someone I actually got a chance to work with, one of the most winning football coaches of all time. And for me, I don't know everything about him, but the time and the touches that I had around that program and around all those athletes, Heisman Trophy winners, went on to become Super Bowl champions, MVPs, all that stuff. It set the ground, and he had a big spiritual commitment in the work that he did. Fellowship of Christian Athletes was very much a part of what he wanted and encouraged his student athletes and football players. And I had a brother that he came to the house and gave our family the chance to have our first family member go to college. Now, it didn't end great. My brother didn't finish, but it inspired me to go to college because I didn't know I could until I saw somebody get something that they worked hard for. And I started to work hard for mine. So shout out to Coach Bobby Bowden, inspiring a lot of people in a lot of different ways. I've never been a football player, but you look in the back, I got the Florida State helmet, and him and a couple other people gave that to me because of the work that I did. It was they were that committed, and they put an academic sticker on there because I was an academic advisor. Shout out to Coach Bowden, rest in peace.
That's right, Coach Bowden. Yeah, I didn't want to pop that bubble, so I'm happy that you made sure you came back again. Yeah, he was definitely instrumental for so many athletes and as well as students. You know, he's definitely been monumental, and you know, he lived a good life. 91 years old, brother, and he's still sharp as a whip.
He was pretty sharp, man. I got to give it to him. But no, man, the show today, very appropriate, man. What great leadership, bro. You know, we're giving you your roses right now in the sense of the content. Sometimes we gotta let people know we're not just up here freestyling. We're guys and men and fathers and brothers who are interested in growing our audience and sharing what we have. Thank you for In Touch Radio, Daryl and Tammy and DJ Anna. You know we love you, so thank you so much.
That's right. Thank you very much. Once again, another great episode of Power Move, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. I'm with my partner in crime, Mr. Courage. Spiritual crossover.
Joel Sylvain, Brooklyn's
in the house. No doubt.
All right,
See you
no doubt. Good night,
next
y'all.
week.